Hi, yeah, this is my 1 month review on my Casio Oceanus T3000A. Um, Now, this is the one with the DLC bezel going around here, DLC coated bezel, and yeah, there is a model without that, more of a silver. But as the light shines on this, it can look silver sometimes. It can look a bit darker. So yeah, no, I've been really enjoying this watch quite a lot. I actually was going to buy the is it the S5000 model, the one that Nick Shabazz bought, but the lower end version of that. Um, Look, I had a few issues with that one. That one, it based on his review, like it took forever for this one to turn if you wanted to go into stopwatch mode. I think it had one less motor inside there, so a few of the dials were linked with each other. So if one turned one revolution, then the other one would turn. Whereas I think this one's got an additional motor in there, so it's less waiting around. Like for instance, if I was going to put it into stopwatch mode, let's say, so I'll hold this button down here, and forgive my sweaty hands. It's a bit hot here tonight, so I'm a bit nervous making this video, but oh well. So I hold this button down. Oops, so I'm not holding it down on. So hold this button down. Goes in stopwatch mode. Lines up, and then I've got stop start. And unfortunately, this is only accurate to 1 second, so I'll stop that there and reset, and then put it back to mode. So I'm high battery mode, my battery level's high, and then back to the date. Well, let's go through the sub dials here as well. So up here we've got 24-hour time, so 24-hour time of my home time, and then down here is world time, so I've set this to LA. And in here is a even smaller sub dial, and that one is just saying it's PM or AM, almost like it's a 24-hour time for that world time as well. Along here we got the day, so today is Saturday. It's just being hidden by that hand there, and the date, which is the 9th. Now a few of the other buttons, like we don't get any this RC bloody what's it called, reception for this multi-band 6. So if I press here, it just goes straight to no. Yeah, the other good thing about this one is just the Bluetooth feature. Just I turned it on, held it down to sync, and then started up the app, connected it, and it just synced to my phone's time, just like magic. And subsequently, I've actually just turned that off now, and I've only synced it like 2 or 3 times, and now the app, if I ever want to sync it, I turn the app on and connect it. Otherwise, it's the feature, like Find My Phone feature, like you hold that down to get it to work, and it doesn't work very well. Let's just put it that way. Like the app has to be sort of running in the background, and then even for it to connect, you have to sort of hold this button down first for it to connect, and then hold this button down to get it to ring the phone. So it's a bit gimmicky. To be honest, I'm happy having Perpetual Calendar. Like a few weeks ago, we had daylight savings here, and look, as I said, I've only synced synced it with the phone 2 times, and somehow, like, it knew it was daylight savings. I woke up the next morning, and the time was set. I was amazed, actually. It's the first time I've had a watch set itself for daylight savings time. So that's really cool. So let's just quickly go through some specs. The dial diameter is 43 mils. The case thickness is 11 mils, and it's a titanium bracelet. And yeah, polishing is pretty good. Like, I it actually gets a few fingerprints on here, so and I use this actually as a daily beater. To be honest, like, it's a bit of an expensive one, but look, I spent let me see, what did I spend? Spent about well, I used a few eBay vouchers, and it got sent from Japan, and I got it for about 630 US dollars. So I paid about 930 Australian. And I think it, you know, for a bit of an upper class sort of beater watch for me, I thought that's a good price. As far as sort of the pips along here, they're floating around. It's a bit hard to see, but there's a bit of a gap you can maybe see underneath there. And the loom, not so bad. It's just on the edges here. That's all you get. And obviously on the hour and minute hand there. But look, the loom's much better than my I had what did I have before? Citizen, actually, yeah. So I had a Citizen beater watch before, and the loom's better on this one, definitely. The other thing I quite like about this one compared to the S5000 is these indication sort of pips are symmetrical in a sense, except for the 9, where the 9 is there, the ninth, but the date, I mean. But yeah, nothing sort of, cut out because of a dial, had to fit in for a sub-dial. So I quite like that. Also the DLC coding, I think that's also won me out. And just the speediness of sort of, let's say, going between the stopwatch. Let's do that again. And then that sort of lines up, and then, stop, start, reset, and put it back in, high battery level, and then back to that, done. Too easy. And to be honest, I hardly ever use the stopwatch on this thing. I only just to show people. That's about it, really. What else? And let's go back to the specs on this thing. Like a sapphire glass, and this is a double coated anti-reflective coating on here. And to be honest, it's bloody amazing. Like, this double coating is the first time I've ever had a double coated AR coating, and seriously, you cannot see the glass. Like, a bit of a sheen there, but it's no. I showed my mum this watch about 3 weeks ago, and she's like, "What happened to the glass? Where's the glass gone?" I'm like, "It's there." She thought it must have been some hip new trend, wearing watches without a glass on it. But well, anyways, the other thing is you got this little blue edge coloring around here on the around the dial, around the bezel. Only gets caught on every now and then, so it's very subtle. It's nice. I quite like that. Weight of this one, it's 86 grams, so very light, very, very light. Like, I'm super impressed with the weight of this. Like, you don't even feel it. Sort of negatives about this one, I think, for me, my most sort of hated thing about it is actually these sections in here. The dirt just collects in these little edges along here and along there. So yeah, it's a bit of a hassle. Just try and clean as much as you can. And also, dirt collects inside this little groove sort of along here. Pretty much, it's a floating bezel, so that's my other annoyance about that. So dirt and crap is just going to get stuck in there. But besides those two things, as a sort of beater watch that bit of an expensive beater. I think I love it. I love it. So I guess now I'm hooked on Casio Oceanuses, but look, I'll keep this for a long time. And well, thanks guys for listening. And look, this get yourself an Oceanus, I reckon. All right, see ya. Bye.